Hello, I'm Vanshika and welcome to Chai Tea Latte. Our guest for today is an Indian filmmaker known for the Malayalam language films and the original Drishyam and Drishyam 2. He has also worked as a co-director on 12th Man, Kooman and has worked as an associate director on the Hindi film The Body starring Rishi Kapoor and on the show Andekhi starring Harsh Chaya. His directorial debut, Level Cross, featuring Asif Ali and Amala Paul, was an official selection at the International Film Festival of India under Indian Panorama category. The film is available to stream on Prime Video, and this interview will contain spoilers. Welcome, Arfaz. How are you doing?
Hello, thank you. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me here. How
Of
are you
course.
doing?
I'm great. Thank you so much. And just to start right out the bat, cheers. Which beverage is your choice? Chai, tea, coffee?
Hi.
Chai. Okay, perfect. So congratulations on the success of Level Cross. It is a masterpiece. I really love the film. We'll get into it, but I want to talk about like how did you get into the film industry? How did you start your career?
So, my father, Mr. Adam Ayub, he is a veteran in Malayalam television industry. Right from the beginning of Doordarshan, he's been making television series. So, and he's also an instructor of cinema. He teaches filmmaking to his students. So, I was always fascinated by filmmaking right from my childhood. So after school, I used to go to the set and spend time there. And so from that time itself, I knew that this is probably what I want to do in life. So as I grew up, I started assisting him. I learned from him, and then I didn't want to do anything else but films. So that was a thing in mind right from the beginning. So this fell in place.
Did you like at any point get a formal education for filmmaking, or was it all on the job training for you?
No, my father, like I said, is an instructor of cinema, so I got trained under him, and
Okay.
then started assisting him, and then I worked in a television channel, and then I moved to Bombay to work in the mainstream Hindi film industry, and obviously initial years were difficult, trying to struggling to get work and
Yes.
stuff, but slowly things started falling in place and started getting work, and that's how it's been.
So, talking about Level Cross, we'll talk about your other projects as well, but this we have to get into it right now. The beginning of the film is so beautiful. The frames that you've shot are so beautiful. Like it's just 5 minutes of just frames, or 7 minutes of just frames. Uh, are you someone who storyboards? Are you someone who has all of this at the back of their head, or do you see it in the moment and you go, oh, that's a nice frame?
I don't have storyboard. So my process is once I wrote the script, and because it is my first independent feature film, I did a lot of homework, more than what people would normally do, because it's my first film and I wanted to be, and it's a very we didn't have too much of budget as well, so we it was very important that I had clarity on what I want, so that it's easy to communicate with my crew and get the shots that I want. So it was very clear that these are the shots that I want. What frames, that I decided once I did the Reiki at the location. So I knew, okay, this is a nice frame. This place can be this can be my opening shot, and this can be the shot to follow. So that happened during the process of the technical Reiki, where I used to mark my shots. Okay, these are the frames. So I had my DOP Apu Prabhakar, who was with me during the Reiki. So we were discussing and blocking our shots. So so there was clarity. Primarily, there was clarity on how we want to shoot it, and even the pacing of the film. We had clarity on that, so it became easy when you know what you want. Then
Yeah.
it becomes easier.
Yeah. And there was a frame where there was a shoe which had specs on it and it had a cigar sort of look on it. How did you come up with that? I thought that was very creative.
Yeah, so the instruction to my art director was that I want some object that could have a face, which should be something that a person who has nothing else to do would have done something, created a face out of something. He might not be the
Yeah.
most creative person,
Yeah.
but when you have ample amount of time, and your necessity is that I need a face, a person, like a person to talk to, so that is the
Yes.
instruction given to him, and he came up with a few options, and this is the one which suited the best I felt, so we took that.
Oh, that's amazing. I, it's just people are so much on their phone, and that it's shown in the film, right? That they're that person. It's the location is isolating, but then the person is also isolated because there's no food, there's no phone, there's nothing of that sort, and he's isolated from the rest of the world. And I was just like, like when we scroll on Instagram, I was watching this video where when we were children, we used to put the pencil in the eraser and or do all those sorts of things. So I just thought that was very creative, and the way you just explained it, that yes, that's a person who needs someone to talk to, or wants someone's face. I think that's a really cool, and the artist, kudos to the artist, because they did a really good job. I was really happy about that.
Thank you. Happy to.
There were two frames in particular that caught my eye because they were literally frames. One was when she falls off the train, and you create a frame. There's a bridge. There are two pillars, and she's just lying there in her red dress. And the other was when she goes to fetch the water in the village, and there's a frame when she's just looking. How do you do that? What are you thinking?
Yeah, when she's fallen, I mean, under the bridge, I mean, there is a, like you said, there's a frame. Now, I wanted something which could look like she's been caged, she's been boxed, you know. Uh,
Yes.
but when you really want something and you look for it, then you find it. So we found this location and a frame which fits in. I don't know if I wouldn't have found that particular frame. I don't know what I would have done to create that image. But I always wanted something which should look vast at one point, but although it is vast, it's been framed. There is a box in it
Right.
within which these two characters appear. So I think it was we just found it. I was lucky to have that frame because like I said, अगर वो नहीं मिला होता, I would know what I would have done with it. So yeah,
Right.
so things like that, when you really look for it, you get it, you seek.
So it was a part of the location, like you didn't have to create that at all.
No, no, no. It was part of
Oh,
the
wow.
location.
Wow. Speaking of location, my friend mentioned it when we were at IFFI. He was mind blown by the film, by the way. And like he was the one who encouraged me, you should watch Level Cross. It was crazy. So speaking of location, location was, so there are three characters in the film, but in my opinion, there are five characters in the film: location and music. Those two other
True.
things, those two other things set the pace for the movie, set everything for the movie. We'll talk about music, but about location. Where did you film this? How did you find this place? And what all was available for you at the location, and what all did you have to like bring to the location?
So first of all, when the film begins, there is a text which says that beyond time and space,
Yes.
there is an imaginary world. So we are setting an imaginary world. So for me, it was very important that the world looks imaginary, which means that I didn't want to shoot in Rajasthan deserts because you've seen
Yes.
it. It
Yes.
wouldn't look very surreal. So I was looking for a location that has not been touched, not been seen much before, and that is how I reached North Africa. The film was shot in a place called Tunisia, in the Sahara deserts. So me and Jeetu Joseph sir, who's also my mentor, we were doing a Reiki in North Africa, in Morocco, Tunisia, for another film called Ram with Mohanlal sir. So while doing the Reiki, that is when we found this location, and we thought, okay, this is a great location, and we should go for it. And the next step was to convince my producer to take a film which was planned to be shot in Rajasthan to take abroad, which means the cost multiplies and it becomes
Yeah.
a bigger budget film than what he had thought. But my producer, Mr. Ramesh Pipilla, was very understanding, and he's a passionate filmmaker as well. So he understood that the this location is a character, like you mentioned, and that character, if you're casting a character, you need to spend a certain money to have that artist, right? So this character, which is our location, requires that kind of. So he understood that, and that is when I went to Tunisia. My line producer, my local producer there in Tunisia was Alexander Nas. He's a very famous and very big producer in Tunisia, in the North African area. He's done a lot of Hollywood films and all that. So me and him, we started looking for this particular location, which I had seen a couple of months before during the Reiki. But when we reached that place, it looked completely different. There were constructions going on, and we figured that this is not happening. So then me and Alex, I mean, I got, I was panicking because I had already told my producer that we are shooting here. The visa process had begun, and the crew was coming and all that. And I had very small, time frame, a period of time for me to find the location and put a set there, because everything is a set, a pretty less amount of time. So we started looking that, let's go deep down into put the car on the highway, and we started walking. So me and him walked for about 2 hours into the desert, and we found this place which was isolated from where you can't see civilization, you can't see roads, you can't see buildings, you can't see anything. So we reached that point, and he said, "This is a nice place. This is where we should put our set." Alex said, "We okay, great idea. We can put it," but we came walking, and it's
Yeah.
desert, right? So there is no way you can get a car there. You can't get a vehicle there. You can't get your trucks there. So literally, we had to make a road from the highway to the spot in the location where we were planning to shoot. So we made the so that itself took a week for us to get the road done. And one thing was that Alex never says no. He's okay. We'll make it possible, but we need time. Unfortunately, we didn't have time. But they worked, and that was a time when Ramadan was going on. So it's a Muslim country, so people were
Right.
fasting. So the number of hours they will work is was very limited. However, him and his team pulled it through. We made the road and we started constructing. So what he did was, because the road construction would take time, he had already started making the planks and putting those pieces, at his go down. So the construction had already started. So we just had to put it there, put it together here. So that way we saved a lot of time, and that is how we arrived at this particular location. And when we did, it was very satisfying to see that how the location has come out, and in the middle of Sahara Desert. So it like you said, added value to the film.
Absolutely. So was it after you had built that road that you started construction on the train and the whole track of the
Yes,
train?
all that happened after that. Yeah, because we had to bring all this stuff, right? So we didn't have a
Right.
road to bring stuff in. So we had to make the road first, and then only we could. So in between, there were sandstorms and there were rain, and everything that could go wrong happened. But
Happened.
yeah,
That is
yeah,
another thing. I saw in a few frames how when they're talking on the porch, how there's like you can hear the wind, you can hear like there's a storm brewing, and then also when he like in the first frames when he goes to fetch water, you can see there are black clouds. It's all cloudy. It feels like it's gonna rain. Was was it all in the moment? Were you like, did that, were the actors on set, did you know that the storm is coming or like something is gonna happen so that you can shoot at that moment of time?
no. So for instance, when there was sandstorm came and we couldn't shoot for 1.5 days,
Okay.
but at that point there was a point where I felt that we could use that when Asif Raghu is walking on the track with the
Yes.
bucket. There's a lot of sandstorm coming, so we actually literally pushed him and go, because there was a camera, and the lens could get affected. There's a lot of harsh wind that's happening, but the team stood up, and Asif was very cooperative. I don't think any other actor would walk into the storm and ready, because the wind is so heavy, and it's sand coming onto your face, into your eyes and all. It's not difficult to even stand there, but he did. And so we could capture those moments. So it was, like I said, there's a lot of blessing that happened for the film, and this was one of them.
And and the actors were like everyone, the cast and crew were always like staying at that in that area, I'm assuming, or did you have to travel back and forth a lot?
No, we had to travel. So
Okay.
from the highway, it's about half an hour on the
Okay.
road into the Sahara, and we were staying at a place city called Tuzur. It's a small town, so that city was about 1 hour. So totally 1.5 hours each each way we had to
Okay.
travel.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So that's nice. That's nice that it's close by. There's not a lot of travel time, and you can have the
Yeah.
actor and the crew there. That's amazing. Um, the music, the whole like music usually, in films, in television, it's usually a supporting character where if something is going to happen, there's a build up, and that build up is also like there's a build up with music. But in this movie, it felt like the music was the flow of the film, like it was deciding the flow of the film while it was also telling the flow of the film at the present time. I'm not sure if I'm describing it properly, but it felt like that. Like, like people would have to see it to know that the music was throughout the film, which is a rare sight, which is a rare like hearing thing. um, what made you decide that? How did that happen?
Yeah, so I was very sure that I was a fan of Vishal Chandrasekhar. He's done films like Sita Ramam, and also he's a great musician. He's also done, if you remember, there was the Kingfisher, Lula la 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 lula lo.
Yes, yes.
He was the one who composed all that. So I was a fan of this guy. So I went, narrated the story. He said, I loved it. He's in Hyderabad. So I'm in Kochi. So he said, come over, let's sit and work. So the process of scoring for this film was slightly different from regular. So normally what happens is a film is divided into 5 or 6 parts, and we send these parts to the music director with the brief, okay, how, and then he composes the music, and he puts the music onto those 5 parts. He sends us back, and we listen to it, and then we say, okay, corrections here, changes here. We send it back. That is a process that normally everyone follows. In this film, what we did was me and Vishal. We sat together for each scene, and he was scoring for the film. We was making the music
Right.
right in front of my eyes. So I was so involved in the process that he would play he plays a scene, and he'll play the music stems, just the basic, okay, this works. Then I say no, then he plays another one. So although it was a time consuming process because we had to
Yes.
sit through each scene, but that was very productive. I knew what I was getting right when it was,
Happening.
happening. So it helped, rather than a music director working in isolation, sending the music, you hearing it and giving feedback. That was completely different ball game when you are actually sitting with him and you say, what is the emotion that you want to? So I said, okay, at this point, this should come. So he creates that, he plays. I say, it's working. I say, it's there, but it's not quite there. So he plays another one. So that process was beautiful, and that is the reason I want to work with Vishal again, because this process is absolutely new. I don't know how many filmmakers do that, but this process actually helped this kind of film. It really helped because, like you said, music is the backbone of this film, and
Yeah.
it is not like blanket music right from the start to end. There's music, no. Whenever it is required and it has to be impactful, and that is what Vishal has done.
Right, right. It's not like it's a music video that the music is playing the whole time. No.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but it's such a strong character that you can feel its presence throughout the film. And there were moments, I'm not sure if it was intentional, it was just me, where I I sensed that okay, this part they're trying to make it like cute, like some conversations that they were having with each other when she says, "Oh, who's gonna check your medals? Who's gonna check that you're wearing uniform?" And the music that was supporting it, it felt like it was supposed to be cute.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Whatever the scene is trying to communicate, the music should be able to enhance that feeling, to make it more impactful, and that's what the
Absolutely.
music director did.
What was the significance of the donkey? Like spoilers now, spoilers will start coming. What was the significance? Why the donkey, and what was the significance of the donkey?
Okay, now it's open to interpretation. I don't know how much I should talk about it much, but the donkey is imaginary. I mean, the
Right,
donkey doesn't exist.
right.
So it is that person, like he's made a shoe. It is a donkey that lived with him many years ago, maybe, and he still feels the presence, his presence, and he's his bouncing board. He throws his ideas to him, talks to him.
Right.
In a scene, again, as a director, I should not be interpreting the scenes for the
For
audience,
other,
but just to
yeah.
give an example, there is a scene where Amla is taking a shower and he is going and trying to peep in, and suddenly there is a donkey, which could be his alter ego, I don't know, and he's actually shitting, which is in a way to say that what shit thing are you doing, peeping into a girl's privacy. So similarly, and at a point we reveal that, in the village where she is walking away, we reveal that the donkey's skeleton is there with his neck belt, and you hear the bell echo, to establish that, the donkey doesn't exist in real. So similarly, in the film, there are a lot of minor little things that we've put. Probably in a second watch, you would be able to connect and see what it was, or find another meaning to it than what you saw, like the empty cages, or there are a lot of such things, or the
Right.
coins and well. So there are a lot of tiny things that we've put in the script, which probably in a second watch, some people might be able to infer another meaning to it, understand something else beyond what is seen.
It was pointed out to me how there were, in the beginning of the film, there was one sand, what's the English word for it? Let's call it a mini sand dune.
Mm,
And by the end of it, there were three of them,
mhm.
signifying something, I guess. If
Correct. So, yeah,
right,
yeah, yeah.
okay. The characters that you've written, they're so complex. You feel for them, but then also you're amazed by how they're reacting to situations. You feel that that person has been alone for so long. Raghu has been alone for so long, and so maybe he's cooking up these theories in his head that he has hens, he has goats, and he has all those things, um, and then it is like it's left to interpretation towards the end whether that is the case or not. And similarly, when they are telling their truths, they are not telling their truths. What, how did you get into the like complexity of the characters? How, what were you thinking when you were writing these characters?
Now, writing these characters is one thing. Of course, it
Yes.
is important, but also to portray these roles, to understand it in a way that when you watch the second time, you would know that why Amla is reacting this way. You probably second time you would know, oh, this is the reason she was reacting in this manner. Or
Yes.
Asif's character. I mean, I can write as much as I want, and I can brief him, and the makeup artist can do all the makeup that he wants to make this character look the way he wants him to look. But at the end of the day, if Asif doesn't carry that look, it will look odd. It will look like he kya pehan ke kya, what has he.
Yeah.
So Asif, Amla, and Sharaf, they've done a great job of understanding the character. So once they understood the character, then I didn't have to brief them again. So
Right.
Asif knows how Raghu would smile or
Yeah.
how he would walk. I didn't have to tell him that, you
Yeah.
know.
Towards the end, there's a fire burning. There is that last piece of news that he's reading where it says former lover murders family of four. Throughout the film, we think he's the husband, right? He's the husband who's been wronged, and then later there's that piece of information that just changes everything that we've been looking at. What? Okay, yes, you are the director, you're not supposed to interpret things for the audience. But can you please clarify for the people who are in suspense what we were supposed to realize in that moment?
Well, I guess he was not the husband but the lover.
Yes, oh my god. That was such a twist. That was a really good twist. But because throughout the film, right, both of them they are saying that okay, this is us, like this is our true selves. And then as soon as her like towards the end of her character's story, it's revealed that oh no, she has been lying all this time. And towards the end of that his character's story, he reveals that oh no, he's been lying all this time. And that's just Mind blowing. um, so also, like, of course, ghost villages exist in Rajasthan. There have been news about ghost villages and other places also. I would like to believe, like, do you think like this was an inspiration, right? This was an inspiration
Yeah,
from.
yeah, the Kuldhara in Rajasthan was an inspiration
Right,
for it,
right.
right? Yeah.
Two things in that were also pointed out to me. When she's fetching the water, she goes to that town, right, where she the ghosts exist supposedly, and the camera angle is upside down. And then again towards the end, towards the last frame, the camera angle is upside down. Was it signifying something? Did you like?
Yeah, well, in a dialogue, he says that the ghosts in that village, they walk upside down, they walk on their
Yes,
hands.
yes.
So probably it has some connection, I guess.
Yes. Oh, great. So I guess this all can be revealed in part two if you ever decide to make it. But yeah, all exciting stuff. What and then the poster as well. You made the poster when he's listening to the tracks to sense when the train is coming because that's how people did it in the olden times. What was like why that particular frame? Why that particular scene for the poster?
One, see, posters, obviously, that is the first thing people see about a film, even before the trailer comes in and all that. So I wanted the audience to understand this character or to have a little intrigue about this character. Why is he on the track? What this person is, who is he? He's a railway gateman. He's very curious kind of a person. He's not your boy next door. He's not somebody you would meet often.
Right.
He is a little surreal. He's a little weird. And I mean, it was easy to establish all that with that one frame than tell a story. So, that's why we picked that picture.
Oh, that's amazing. And for Amla, you mentioned in one of the interviews how she was a reference for the character. Like when you were writing the character, you wrote thinking her in mind. What is it writing for a character versus writing for an actor? When you're thinking about someone and you're writing that character versus you're thinking about the character and then you pick the actor. How is it? How are the two different, if they are at all?
Yeah. Yeah, so the difference is writing for Raghu as a
Right.
character, I didn't have any reference. I knew how Raghu has to be. Any actor comes to play that character, I know this actor has to become this character because this character is well defined and this is a character. Now, writing for Chaitali, Amala's character, when I started writing, I wanted to have an image of a woman who fits into this character, so it helps me write. So
Right.
it was the other way around here. So I wanted someone who's tall, beautiful, gorgeous, very bold, and very straightforward, very urban. And that image, all those keywords, if you put, you get Amala Paul.
Yeah.
So, Amala was my reference then. Although it was difficult to get her, but I didn't know whether I'll get her as well. But
Yeah.
at least for the writing purpose, I thought, okay, Chaitali looks like Amala. She's my reference point. And that is how the process began.
That's incredible. Like the contrast. It's amazing that to have.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Um, the other thing was, yes, you've worked with Asif Ali before on Kooman. Totally different character, completely opposite. What was it like working with him again? Like you mentioned again in this interview that I think when you were on the set for Kooman, you approached him and he was like, "Okay, what do you have?" I was gonna ask you, what do you have for me?
Yeah.
Like, is there anything that you've written? What was it working with him again in a completely different setting, in a completely for him as a completely different character?
No, Asif's biggest plus point is not that he's a great actor. Of course, he's a great actor.
Right.
But beyond that, he's a great buddy. He's a great person as a human being. If you meet him, you would know he's very warm and welcoming, and he is somebody who has no baggage of stardom with him. He's a
Right.
superstar, but he doesn't know. I mean, it almost feels that he doesn't know he's a superstar. so it becomes very easy to approach. It becomes very easy to talk to. He becomes the most easiest person to handle as an actor. So uh, so even when I'm planning my next film, my first option is, can Asif do this character? Because
Right.
I don't want to come out of my comfort zone. I'm so comfortable with him that if he gives me dates, I'll just keep making films with him. I'm happy with it. He's that easy to work with.
You've also done some acting cameos, which is
Yeah.
is that something that you'd like to do in the future?
I like acting. When I was in Bombay,
Yeah.
uh, during my struggling time and all that, it was difficult to get work. So how I used to satisfy or feel happy about things or life was that I used to be part of a theater group there, and we
Yes.
used to do plays and skits and mimes and all that. So from there, even before that, I used to, do play and all that, back in school and college. So acting was always something that, fascinates me. I love playing characters and stuff. So, when, Jeetu says films, the small,
Yeah.
tiny roles in there, yeah, I do it.
You've worked with Jeetu Joseph on a lot of his films. What has that working relationship been like?
Working with Jeetu Joseph sir has it's like family. So I've
Yeah.
worked on, I think it's the eighth film that I'm working on with Jeetu sir now. Even right now, I'm at his house while having a chat with you right now. So this is where I spend most of my time here, because not just Jeetu sir's wife Linda ma'am. Linda ma'am is writing a script for me to direct. Uh, the
Wow.
daughters, Kathy was the associate director on Level Cross. Katrina is handling production. So uh, we are like family. I mean,
Yeah.
even if I, start doing my independent films and all that, this connection will always remain, and I would love to have that connection always. So right from the beginning, I mean, the first film I worked with Jeetu sir was Body, the Hindi film, when he came to do that film. Since then, that connection and that love and respect and everything is there, and he's a mentor. He wants the best for you.
Yeah.
So and it's mutual. So it's a great association to have, and I really cherish that.
You mentioned the body. What was your experience like working with the great Rishi Kapoor sir and
Oh, Rishi sir was amazing. He was,
yeah.
he उनको जल्दी गुस्सा आता था, and but he was very cooperative. When we
Yeah.
were shooting in Mauritius, I mean, we were inside the forest shooting, and there were monkeys making noises, and he was shouting at the monkeys, chop, chop, and all that. He's a very cute person. And at the end of the shoot, he will come laugh with us, and he's got lots of stories. Obviously, he's been working for such a long time, and so he tells you stories that's so inspiring, stories of
Yeah.
Bobby and Raj Kapoor sir and all that. So it really, he was a treasure. To spend time with him was amazing. After the shots, I mean, we sit in his vanity and talk. So it was amazing. I mean, to hear those stories. I mean, these legendary stories. And when he left us, it really hit us so hard. Like, someone from our family has passed away. It
Yeah.
was a very, very emotional moment for all of us. We didn't see it coming because he has recovered, he had come back, but well, unfortunately, things happen. So
Yeah. No, that was a sad time for India specifically
yeah,
because of a legend. But yes, the stories. He comes from a family that is all about storytelling. So to hear from someone like that, it must have been a great experience.
it's beautiful.
Uh, Speaking of legends, you're also working with Mohanlal, sir, and Adil Hussain and Trisha Krishnan on Ram. What can you tease about the film? What can you tell us about the film?
Well, it's obviously it's Malayalam is one of the biggest films that's coming out in Malayalam film industry, and it's been quite a while that film has been in production, and due to many reasons, the film has not been completed yet. We still have another 50 odd days of shoot in UK and Tunisia and other parts of the world,
Okay.
which would begin soon, and we are very excited about the film, and the film is coming out in two parts. and we have finished most of the second part. First part is still pending to shoot, so we're really looking forward to it, and bringing it out to the audience.
Amazing, amazing. Have you guys decided a date yet, or is that still a thing
We're
of
still working on the dates, but
right?
it will be soon. We'll resume shoot very soon. We're just
Awesome.
waiting for the producers to confirm, and Lal sir to give his dates, and then we will move forward with it. Hopefully
Awesome.
soon.
Hopefully soon. Can't wait to see it. And then one more question. When you watched the Hindi Drishyam, what was that like? Like from the director, what was it like seeing the contrasts, if there were any, seeing the differences, seeing the similarities? Of course, we love like that film. We love the Malayalam version. We love both the films. But then from the creator's point of view, how was it different?
Well, similarity of course the script was similar. I mean,
Right.
it's a remake, so it's similar, but nativity changes. I mean, when you make a film for Kerala Malayali audience, your nativity, your character, the roots of the character, the locations, everything changes. And I think the Hindi version, they've done a great job as well in mounting that film the way they did, and bringing in the nuances of these characters, which is more Maharashtrian, and based in Goa and stuff like that. So they've done a great job. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But ultimately, it is the script. I mean,
Right.
which Jesus has written, that's gone places. So very happy and proud that the film Drishyam, I think, was made in most languages. I mean, it holds a record of being remade into a maximum number of languages, including China, Sri Lanka. Now I think it's coming in Korea as well. I heard they're also planning to remake it in Hollywood. So that's what the script is the essence. Script is what makes a film good or bad,
Yes.
and to see Jeetu's script travel around the world gives us immense pride and happiness.
That's excellent. And it's so nice when Indian films are remade just because more people can see this like, can see the story in their
True.
version. But then like for example Kill, like it's going to be made in the American film industry, and it's an Indian story. Sure, they're going to change it in their way, but it's an Indian story, and that's just we need more of that. We need more good
True.
scripts, so congratulations on that. To wrap it up, how was your IFE experience? How was it meeting with people? How was it like how much proud were you for showcasing your film at IFE, and what was the whole experience like?
Yeah, I was very humbled, and I've always been attending IFFI for a very long time as a delegate. And every time you go watch the film, you also dream, "Ek din, I will come
Yeah.
with my film, and,
Yes.
screen it here." And so finally, when it happens, I mean, it's an overwhelming feeling. And to hear response of the people like yourself and your friends and everybody, it's very heartwarming. It feels like it has found its right audience, and audience is getting what I was trying to say, and it's an amazing feeling. It was a dream come true to be part of IFFI.
Yeah, I think movies are often considered the medium where you don't get an instant reaction because, most of the time the directors, the creators are not sitting in the theater with the audience. But the great thing about these festivals is that you are sitting in the theater with the audience. What was it like watching it with the audience?
It was and while the film was screened at IFFI, I was watching I've seen the film like hundreds of times, obviously during the process, but I was watching the film after a gap of a long time. So for the first time, I was able to watch the film as an audience, as just a viewer. Because most of the times when you watch, you looking at acha isme ye wo ye, and you're thinking about how what went behind, and all these things come to your mind. But when I was watching at Ife in Goa, I was watching it purely, like with the audience, and um, when the audience was reacting to each small twist, and that was overwhelming. That was amazing. When they were reacting, they were clapping, they were laughing, and at the end of it, everybody stood up and giving standing ovation. I mean, it was amazing. It couldn't have asked for more.
Oh, that's a beautiful way. That's how it should be. That's just
Yeah.
incredible. Because, as I said, like in theater, people would be like, okay, yes, by the end of the performance, people give a standing ovation, people clap, but then the
You don't.
movie people
You don't.
movie or even TV shows, people who make TV shows, like they don't, TV shows is like the reaction for them is even worse because people are sitting in their homes and watching that
Yeah.
show. At least in the theater, it's a collective thing. Like I often want for some shows, I'm like, please put this in the theater so that I can watch it with other people. You know, I don't know if that's doable, but yes, congratulations on the film.
Thank
It's
you. And
it's a spectacle, and people should definitely watch it two times to understand all the all the hidden references. So congratulations, thank you for your time, thank you for being here.
thank you, Vanshika. Thank you for having me. Thank you for these questions, and it's incredible to see people loving the film, and thank you for this opportunity to have a chat with you.